Hey guys, Darren here. Welcome to Mayhem Country Living. How about this weather? Out here where we are in central Alabama, the weather has dropped down into the 60s at night and maybe mid 80s in the daytime, and it's supposed to get a little bit cooler. So we are on the road to winter. How about that? It's fantastic. Yeah, had my onion skint. I think I'm going bald. It's okay, I don't care. At one point, many years ago, my head was shaved for several years. No, I wasn't a skinhead. Anyway, but it's just really nice. I've always loved the way the weather changes, and then as the angle of the sun and the just tilt of the earth and everything, it's still the same sun, but the rays are lower, and you can see the seasons change and the trees respond accordingly and everything. It's really good. It's really good. It makes you feel like there's some sort of plan, because by God, in October it's supposed to get kind of cool. It was a big B or something. But with cooler weather comes different challenges for families to prepare for winter. Halt. Just went over. He didn't scream, he was just eyeballing the chickens. We got about 80 chickens out here. So, we know cooler weather is coming. There's certain things that we do. Down here in the south, it's not as bad, but if you have central heat and air, it's probably time to check your filter on your furnace. If you haven't, ideally you do it once a month, but if you haven't, at least check it now, every time you have a seasonal change, once a quarter. There's also a few other things you can do. If you have a wood stove, it might be good to make sure you have laid aside a good set of a good load of firewood. That'll get you through at least your emergency stuff. And it might be time to go ahead and clean that chimney. You can have somebody come out and do it. You can go to Lowe's and buy the kit and assemble the pieces and parts. It comes in like 6-foot parts, and with a brush on the end, and you screw it on and assemble it. It's just like you're plunging a toilet that's 40 feet long, and you scrub it out and everything, and you clean out all the creosote and the accumulation. Might be something to do. Something else, might be time to fill up your oil, your heating oil, and might be time to check your propane in your propane tank, your big bulk tank on your house. If you don't have that, it's always good to have a couple of barbecue tanks, the 5-pound tanks. Have 2 or 6 of those things set aside. I think we have 4. And I gave my son one, so now he has 2. So just to have, because you can always, regardless of what they say, and I know don't do what I tell you, but you can heat your house up if you had to. Just crack a window and it would be tolerable. Candles, flashlights, time to check that stuff. While you're doing a seasonal change here, probably not a bad time to check your smoke detectors, fire alarms and all that stuff. Just swap the batteries out. It's a cheap fix, $2. $2 a thing. They even make them now. You don't even have to swap them out. You just buy a new one for $10 and you screw it on to the base and put it in there. And also, it's probably not a bad idea to have a fire extinguisher in the kitchen. If you had one just in your house, if you just had one, I guess that would be the standard. What I would suggest is keep one in your master bathroom where you are, because that way if something should happen and you get up and you have to go do something, you would have it already. And also keep one in whatever other bathroom under the cabinet that you have. And I know you're saying, well, there's no chance of a fire really in the bathroom. Exactly. Because that way you can run into it, grab a fire extinguisher. And then this goes along to a security issue as well. If there is ever a problem, you pull a pin and you spray somebody in the face with a fire extinguisher. I guarantee you that will stop them in their tracks. And it's quite funny too. That might be something you should consider. So we've covered fall, we've covered the heating, we've covered fuel oil, we've covered propane, we've covered alarms and fire extinguishers. Now there's a couple of other things. If you live in the north, God help you, but you got to shovel snow. I know. I cut my grass 11 months out of the year pretty much here in Alabama. Some of you guys cut your grass 6 months and then shovel snow 6 months. Might be time to go ahead and set aside a few bags of sand or salt or kitty litter to help. Make sure you got the shovel, that big white orange one, I've seen it, or the silver one. Again, God help you. I've never shoveled snow in my life. I never plan on shoveling snow. Knock on wood. Don't ever plan on doing that. But this is just some of the little things to think of. If you have a generator as a backup system in your house, it's time to go ahead and pull it out, crank it up, let it run, cut the fuel off, and let it run till the carburetor bowl is empty. Make sure the fuel is stabilized. Make sure you have, and I'm not joking it, make sure you have a safe place to put this. You need 100 gallons. And I know you're thinking, that's crazy, that's a bunch of shit. No. You need 100 gallons of fuel, because that way, most of us have 1 or 2 cars. 30 gallons will fill your tank twice, 60 gallons, and then 40 gallons will run your homestead area or a room in your house with a little small heater and enough for a fan and a light and a DVD player and a TV for quite a few days. That's what you need to plan for, not the zombies. They're not real. More to come, guys. Okay, guys, now we're back. I've been out. I was watching the bats flying around a while ago. Even though it's October, we still have mosquitoes here in Alabama. And one of the things that you hear people say all the time is, well, we've got a really bad mosquito problem. Well, no, actually you don't have a mosquito problem. You have a bat problem or a dragonfly problem, because you don't have enough bats or dragonflies to eat all the mosquitoes. So, to regulate your systems, throw in a couple of bat boxes. And gosh, I see 3 or 4 of them just out zipping around. And they've been out here for years, and they roost back in there. And I've got a couple of bat boxes. But back on fall preparedness, winter preparedness. Just do the good things. This is the stuff that we always do, the stuff we always talk about. No, there's no damn zombies. Set aside a certain amount of food, because here in Alabama, we don't have snow. We have ice storms. And so the ice comes in and it hits these tall pine trees, and the limbs break off and break onto the power lines, and we have power outages all over the place in central Alabama in the winter. I will say we have gone 10 days with no power before. We have several generators that we crank up and run. We use them to alternate between our refrigerators and freezers, and then we do some kind of entertainment for the kids, as well as we play card games, Monopoly, all that good stuff and everything. And then I have enough extra to take one to my neighbors and say, hey guys, y'all okay? Do you need anything? What do you need? That means, extra blankets, warm, safe, sturdy clothing, safe, sturdy shoes for the cooler weather as well. Boots, shoes. Don't get me wrong, I love the hoe heels, but you need some safe, sturdy shoes for the bad weather and everything. And it's not to overwhelm you. All of this can just be accumulated over time. It's not like go out, max out your credit card, give it a swipe, and you'll have all this stuff. No, that's silly. It's not how you do it. You build it up over time, and you build it up over time, and you build it up over time. One of the big things that you can have is your vehicle, your car. It normally has 18 to 30 gallons of fuel in it, if you're prepared, and all you need is a decent sized inverter, and you can pull your car up a safe distance from your house and run a good sized extension cord, plug your inverter in, plug the extension cord in, whether it is into your cigarette lighter, which is not so good. Under the hood with the clips is the best, and then you idle your car and you let it run for 5 or 6 hours, and that will give you enough power to run your freezer, run your refrigerator. Even though the weather's cold, you still don't want that stuff to go bad, and that will be enough to run a light, a fan, maybe not a heater, but you get the idea. Kerosene heaters, really big things, really good idea. Change your wick out once a year regardless. You can run diesel in it. If you run diesel in it, change your wick out because it junks it up. I've done it, and I've had to replace it. There's so many things we could go into and talk about. Small portable propane heaters, the little buddy heaters, those are ideal. Make sure you have the fuel filter that's appropriate for it. Yes, there's one on those. The fuel line, and then the tank, and that goes back to your propane tanks, your 5-pound tanks. That's just a bunch of different stuff, and you can see that it's getting dark to the point where we can't really see and talk, but this video is probably going to be like 15 minutes. But I did want you to just think about this. Extra food. Know your neighbors' phone numbers. Keep your phones charged up. Something happens after you make sure your household, your family, your zone is taken care of, go out and check on the person on your left and your right. Because those, whether you want to admit it or not, those are the people in your group that are going to take care of you. So love them, hate them, but you better take care of them. Anyway, guys, we're going to wrap everything up. Just a second, you're going to see a picture of my ugly mug pop up over here on this side of the screen, as well as my beautiful wife on the other side. Give me some videos. We're going to do your brand of wacky. As always, guys, take care of your people.